Hey everybody, talking tonight about card sleeves. If you are unfamiliar with card sleeves, then a couple options. You're either not serious that much about your games, don't really care about their longevity or their protection, or you don't understand the benefit of the card sleeve. So just going to give you a little bit of an overview of what I use. I'm a big fan of Fantasy Flight Supply. I buy all my card sleeves from Fantasy Flight. Usually go to a local game store to pick them up. You can buy them online as well. But sometimes I like supporting my local game store, and it's just an easy way to do that. And I can stop by, grab a couple packs, and leave. Relatively cheap. The big ones here, which is normal gaming cards, sell for $3 a pack for 50 of them. And the smaller ones here are around $2.50 for a pack. Very standard size, but Fantasy Flight does have a little chart right here on the back, which allows you to see your cards, but most game stores allow you to bring your game in and pull out a sleeve from the pack, slide your game in, or the card in rather, and see if it fits, make sure it fits, things like that. Fantasy Flight, another pro tip for you: when you use half a pack, make sure you write the number that you got. So you'll see I've used this pack a couple times. There's some spares. I've got 31 left in here. Make sure you write it down, very important, so that you don't have to count these every time you need some for a game. So that's the card sleeves. There are some other ones you can buy. Mayday Games makes some. I really like the clear front and back, see-through, because I like the artwork of the card. I like to see that. But Mayday Games makes some as well that have colored backs if you prefer that. I don't love the Mayday Games ones. They're a little bit cheaper. 100 to a pack, and they run around $3, $4, $5 for 100. They're a little flimsier. They do, however, fit the card exact, and as I'll show you here, the cards slide into these, have a little bit of spare room at the top, and there's a reason they do that, and I'll talk about that in a sec. Some of my games that are card sleeved are here. I have a general rule of thumb. My card sleeved games are ones that are very important to the security of the game, with longevity, but also I like to card sleeve ones where your roll needs to be private, and if you get a little nick in the card or a scratch or a bend, then your whole roll is given away for the entire game, and someone who's familiar with the game might see your bend and know who you are. But anyways, so for sale, I'll have a review of this game coming up. But there are cards in here, houses and dollars, and they come up kind of privately, and you want to know, you don't want to know who's got what. So these are my card sleeves. Here, I'll just pull one card. As you might be able to see, the card sleeve here has, the card just kind of sits right inside here, and then there's this little space above. I'm kind of bending it over. Let me see if I can find a good surface here to show. Nope. Maybe on the black. We'll get the black. There we go. So maybe you can see that here. There's actually this space at the top. They do that on purpose. It's about 3 millimeters or so. They do that for a few reasons. One, Fantasy Flight talks about the inner dimensions of the card, or of the sleeve fit the card, and then they want the extra there so that the sleeve kind of seals up a little bit more. The edges here are kind of glued together, and they want the top to seal up just a little bit. It doesn't keep the cards in there necessarily. With enough shaking, the card will eventually slide out, but it does kind of close it up a little bit at the top. And also they talk about the top being there for people who like to play with the top of the card and flick it, or kind of scratch it, things like that. Some people like to put it in their mouths or things like that. But card sleeves for sale, very important. Got other card sleeve games here. Resistance, Avalon, any Resistance games, any games that require you to have a roll and you want to keep private. Saboteur is another one of those where everyone is either a Saboteur or a regular miner, and it's important to do it. Fun fact about this one though, there's, I don't know, maybe 200 cards in this game, and I only have the characters and the gold sleeved. I know it's terrible, but to sleeve that many cards, not only does it cost relatively low, 10, 20 bucks maybe, but the game itself is only $10. So to spend $10 on a game for $10, to me personally feels a little bit much. And also, the box wouldn't hold all the cards because it's only this tall. I've got another game, Love Letter. I've got that one sleeved. Pandemic is an important one. I've got all the sleeved cards that are people hold and will play with and kind of rub on the table. Captain is Dead is another one. I've got a review of this one coming up. But I sleeved all the alerts. I sleeved the battle plans. I sleeved everything in this game because all of it needs to remain hidden and private until it reveals itself. So it's kind of important to do that. And then there's a lot of cards in this game that players will touch and hold and give to each other and shuffle, and especially cards that are this small. When you shuffle them, I just want to make sure that the cards don't get bent or scratched very easily, so I put some card sleeves on them. Let me know what you think. Let me know what card sleeve you like to use and why. I'd like to know what you think about my Fantasy Flight ones. They are a little slippery, so when you have big stacks of cards, they will slip apart. But I'd like to know what you use, and maybe I'll go try one of yours and see if I like it better. Thanks.